Wait, thank you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, and this was a good opportunity.
Welcome back to the National Dialogue. And this time around, we're going to be looking at this very, very viral clip that's gone around. And what we're going to be looking at is Rob Herzog versus JJ Tabani. This is important for the National Dialogue. This is an exchange between capital and labor. Capital class versus the people that are working class. Not to say that JJ is not a rich and successful and powerful person, but he's reflecting on the sentiments of the people that do the work, the people on whose back the wealth of the capitalist class is built. And this is a very clear example of how talk is not particularly useful because capital is not trying to listen. Capital is trying to tell labor how to feel, to tell labor what to think. Before we get into it, wear your heart on your sleeve. Welcome back to the National Dialogue. Let's get into it in their own words.
But I think we can have even a longer debate, right? South Africans need to talk. I know that you think it shouldn't cost R1 billion. Yes, it shouldn't. It shouldn't cost us R1 billion to talk. But I don't think we must switch off the channel between us.
Can we ask a couple of questions here, just around some of the tropes, that have crept into the South African conversation,
Yeah.
and I'm not 100% sure they're helpful at all.
Yeah.
This thing around inequality. Do you know how it's calculated? It's the most ridiculous statistic in the world, of which about 20% of the countries participate. You take the richest people and you subtract the poorest people from the richest people.
Okay.
If you want equality, go to Malawi. Go to the Central African Republic. Those places are equal.
They're all poor.
Everybody's
You
poor.
mean they're all poor?
Yes, those are the only equal countries you get. Any prosperous country is unequal, right? That is just a fact of life.
Notice how quickly we transitioned from conceptual arguments to emotional arguments.
Because you can create wealth.
So it's not true that we are the most unequal society necessarily. You're saying we are unequal, but we are in a good company of other countries that are unequal.
Capitalism does not want to change, and yet they purport to be the people of innovation, the people of growth, the people of enhancing, tinkering, and making things better. However, when capitalism itself is challenged, nothing must change. Everything must stay the same. I must maintain my benefits. I must maintain my position, and changing the positions is misunderstanding how the game is supposed to be played.
What I'm saying is we're of the countries who participate in this crazy statistic.
Yeah.
We're the worst, right? But we're in very good company with prosperous countries. All I'm saying is that it's a bullshit statistic.
But isn't the sentiment just because it's a contrast? We are sitting here having a 5-star breakfast, and just 2 kilometers from here, there are people who are sharing their abodes with reds.
If we can
In
talk
Alex.
about
If we had 5% economic growth, there wouldn't be.
we wouldn't be there.
Again, they're throwing around a statistic to back up some kind of idea of it being a rational process that they are speaking of in the methodology. But at the end of the day, they don't explain it so paternalistic. It is them defending and preventing progress by interrogating things. And instead, they just throw out this idea that a rising tide raises all boats, which has been kind of clearly shown to maintain structural inequality. And that's they don't have a problem with structural inequality. In fact, they are defending it.
Exactly.
There'll be no reds in the Alex.
We would.
So we'd have everybody benefiting.
Right.
This government has no idea. This
But we
GNU,
did grow at 5% during Mbeki.
We did.
that's
And-
20, 15, 20 years ago.
Yes,
but people are
yes.
still
let's-
starving.
No, wait. Let's go back to the Mbeki era because
Yeah.
this needs some interrogation.
Yeah.
We did in fact grow at 5%,
Yeah.
and we were adding 500,000 jobs a year, which we did for 6 years.
Yeah.
Right? 3 million people got jobs, additional jobs, and we know what the dependency rate is in South Africa. So, in other words, were people's lives getting better? Considerably. Will you be able to find poor people? We know because every day you can watch CNN and find poor Americans. Yes, there are poor people in rich countries.
There's
Everywhere,
poor people
right?
everywhere. Yeah.
Some people within the ANC managed to convince other people that they should worry about poorer people because the growth everybody wasn't getting rich.
What I hear is a criticism of compassion, a criticism of empathy, a criticism of caring about a person that is not yourself, caring about the poor, and yet trying to make it seem like you are promoting something that will benefit them.
Right? I'm saying we can't employ everybody immediately.
Yeah.
500,000 jobs added a year is a good return.
number, yeah.
We can stop. Can we stop about this ticking time bomb bullshit?
Are you threatening me? 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 Are you threatening me?
Grown men tantrums, that the bringing up of inequality, the bringing up of social unrest that would eventually happen due to prolonged suffering on the part of people that are not like him, people that he says eventually they'll be fine. So why then create this idea of urgency? It's okay that we're adding 500,000 jobs if we're growing at 5%. There is no issue with the fact that children are dying, people are starving, people have malnutrition, people are not living the quality of life that he gets to live. And again, he's the same person who just defended inequality, but doesn't then want to deal with or be accountable for the consequences.
Execution the government puts in place is a disaster and is a failure. And that's why the corporates don't want to invest. You can't blame them. You've got these morons in government screwing the country up, and no foreign direct investment, and no corporates in South Africa want to invest because of that. Get a proper government that fixes what we have instead of creating something new. Why do NHI? Fix what we have. But the
Business-
but that Aaron moron Mozzoledi in charge of, he doesn't know how to do it.
Wait.
None of them do.
But business people, unlike you, are cowards. Okay? They have not been able to take on that government, those policies. They are funding the same government. They are funding the same political parties to do wrong policies. They are cowards. Right?
Look,
Fully, I think we agree.
I
of them
agree
are
on
cowards.
that, by the way. I agree on that.
Yeah.
Corporate South Africa
Because-
are spineless. Cyril's spineless. Corporate South Africa is spineless. I agree.
It's
Can
from
we?
Corporate South Africa has real power.
Okay, so if we could go to part of the way I see it as part of the problem,
Yeah.
I'm fiercely, not just a little bit, but fiercely anti-BE. And I'll tell you why.
All right.
Because I think that just makes the problem worse.
How?
Because what you're saying is keep the same companies dominating our economy. We're just going to change the complexion of some of the key staff members, right? Because the rank and file members has changed.
Yeah.
It's the boardroom we're discussing. As if putting in a black CEO, he's going to behave differently. Well, that's absolute nonsense, because we've seen, for example, Standard Bank run by a black CEO, many mining companies, they behave exactly like business people. That's their job, right? To Rob's point, for the simple reason that how much worse does it have to get before black people come over the hill? I'm flipping old, eh? It's my birthday next week and I turn 62 and I've been hearing about this ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Will it just fucking explode already? I mean, for God's sakes, stop it as a threat. What is a threat?
Well, I
to
think
the
the
ticking time
PW
bomb?
board that didn't also think that 94 will come.
I don't care about the point is nobody, I've got a
The
wonderful...
current government is behaving exactly like PW board, that they think they're too big to be overthrown by the people.
No, we just don't believe in that bullshit.
Yeah, but the point is this. I don't think, I've lived in this crazy country my whole life, and I've never felt threatened, right, in general. I've never felt that people...
So you don't think apartheid was a ticking time bomb when it happened?
Not overly. Not overly. And I've got a story.
I think it was because so many people died before 94 because they were trying to get a better deal.
You know what?
And right now we need a better deal, but we don't need anybody to die first.
We
can,
made a considerable...
From these
ticking time
ideas here, we can build a nation if we just build the bridges.
But-
We're not going to build the bridges by any extreme. Sometimes you are on the very far extreme, right? And that's sometimes
Thank goodness.
make it difficult to implement anything you are saying, because so extreme, even if you got into power, you
No,
won't be able to
free
implement it.
markets. If you've got half a brain, look at Argentina. Look at Argentina. 50, 60 years of socialist rule, bullshit ideology, and in 1 year, Javier Milei,
Nobody's calling
free
for
market
socialism.
libertarian,
Yeah.
free market libertarian, has turned that economy around in 1 year. All of you who believe in this bullshit ANC, racist, socialist crap are morons. Free market works.
Okay, and there's a proof to that.
Yeah.
And that is many young
Start
black
singing
professionals.
soon.
Many young black professionals have started to immigrate. That's the sad truth. My daughter's a CA in London.
Yeah.
She goes to a meeting of SICA in London, and about 3/4 of the 200 people in the room are black. Right?
Yeah, that's,
Why are
I
they
think that's an
choosing-
anecdote, right?
No,
the
why-
issue is that lots of people like Rob who have come back to
No,
the
no.
country because they love this
Yes,
country.
but why are those
And those are
youngsters-
the people we need to focus on. People
No.
who are here, who are debating what should take the country forward.
JJ.
Not people who said, oh, it's too much, let me leave.
JJ, we're talking about young people whose careers they've chosen to not even
The world is a
start.
village. You can
Okay.
work anywhere. You can
But-
go to
but
Australia.
The question,
Who
the
cares?
question that I'm asking,
Yeah.
that I want to ask, isn't about those people. Let them
Yeah.
go, let them learn, let them come back when they come back.
Yes.
Why are they choosing to go to free market countries?
No, they're
If-
choosing to go to any country that gives them opportunities,
But
because
South
the
Africa gives
world,
Free market countries.
no, unlike in the past, South Africa is no longer locked out of the world. We have access to the whole world. I can work in London tomorrow if I want to, right? And that's what we need to be able to get our young people to understand. That don't say 60% young people unemployed here. No, but we can go and work elsewhere in the world, right? And we need to create an environment that will make sure that, as you are saying,
I agree.
educate them, skill them, so that their skills can be needed in India, in Dubai, everywhere else.
And they come back.
Right.
I
And they
agree.
come back to build the country, retire here, like you are doing.
Interesting thing, Julius Malema said to me when I met him once, and once only, at a lunch. He said, BEE is a failure and will fail. What companies should have done, instead of giving Patrice and Moss and Goshen 30% of every business, is give 25 to 30% of the business to their black employees or to the black employees. Empower them as
can be
shareholders.
partner? Let me
And
interrogate that a little bit.
I agree with that.
Let me interrogate that a little
Agree with
bit. When you
Julius.
get into if you and I get into a partnership, a business partnership, 50-50, right? It means that we can consult each other on decisions that we're going to make the business grow. You bring something to the table, I bring something to the table. For me, that's how a business, forget BEE, business partnership must work, okay? Now, what has happened is that companies, right, in trying to tick a box of compliance, they bring a black person, right, who has no clue about the business. Let's start there. No clue in that industry, no skills in that industry, just so that they can tick the box. I've worked for a company like that, where a former minister who will remain nameless was on the board.
Why should he
and,
remain
and we're in a one-day strategy session. At 11 o'clock at tea, he leaves.
Must have been Cyril.
Let's,
I won't say who it was. But by the time it was 5 o'clock and we're now talking even transformation, which could have been his agenda, the whole room was lily white.
So it is not for a lack of the ideas. The ideas and concepts are there, they're out there. However, there has been no emotional will, no political or capitalistic will to do things that are actually good for the country, to do things that are actually good for the people. And the companies that do include employees in decision making actually have been reported to show signs of being more profitable, grow more stably, have better customer service, and higher levels of customer satisfaction. Because when people are invested in what they're doing, it shows in the service that they provide. When people are invested, they find loopholes. When people are invested, they cut costs themselves by being more efficient, finding wastage and stopping it. And these things are what we mentioned earlier, the idea of capitalism evolving. Capitalism cannot remain static and colonial in its nature, extractive in its nature.
Here, right? That when you say 30% and you cry, it means 70% is still owned by white people.
So what?
Exactly. So what? That's
So
our problem. The problem is that you think it's still 1980.
What?
It's not 1980 anymore. You have to wake up to that reality. The reality is that this country must be diverse. Its economy must be diverse. And if it's not, Your walls are not going to protect you. You think that Egypt was a joke when there was a rising there and it can't happen here. It will happen here.
Bullshit.
It will happen, Rob.
Bullshit.
You and I may be dead, but it will happen.
Bring it on.
Can,
Shit.
No, we'll be dead.
No, you're acting like the ANC and the GNU. You're saying, oh, you've got to be scared of MK. The rising bullshit.
Don't be
Look
scared
what
of
happened in the KZN.
Yeah.
That fucking fizzled out.
Black people who are not interested in unity, please pay attention. The emotions were high, and our lack of unity makes us a joke. People are able to say such arrogant things, knowing that they will be safe, knowing that nothing is ever going to happen, that they can continue to exploit and be hyper exploitative going forward because there's no one who's coming to save black people. Black people are not going to do anything to save themselves. They're not going to vote themselves out of the oppression that they're in, and they're not going to unite and fight for their equal rights. He's the same person who speaks about how capitalism knows that the solution could be to give the shares to employees instead of giving it to one individual. But that's not in the interests of capital, and we have to make them do that. We have to unite. We have to push. We have to protest. We have to do mass defiance campaigns until they realize that there is no option, that this place will not be a good investment, that their profit margins will not be safe unless they are inclusive. Whereas right now, they are able to get all hot under the collar and talk about bullshit because they are not seeing black people standing up for themselves.
Rising my foot.
No, I'm not afraid of EFF. I'm not afraid of MK.
There will be no civil
I'm
unrest.
not afraid of ANC or DA, right? I think that in each of these parties, Rob, there are good people, and you can't deny that.
I didn't deny it.
Yeah, and we need a system in this country where we can be able to get all those people together to save this country.
It isn't the national dialogue, I can tell you that.
And that's because this is the national dialogue. We are going to have to do this ourselves. Citizens are going to have to rise, unite, organize, and make our voices heard because there is no one coming to save us. Wear your heart on your sleeve, guys. Wait for the next one. National dialogue. It's happening online because it's not happening anywhere else.